There are a lot of people who take wonderful art photographs and they see photography as really as an art medium. That really wasn't my perspective. My perspective was that I could use it as a means to promote social change.
Like many great artists, you may know John C. Goodwin's work, though you might not recognize him on the street.
I keep one ear open as to what's going on. I would grieve over something or celebrate something on my own time, not taking photographs.
Goodwin's art is capturing a story and the passion of participants in a single image. This talent served Goodwin well during his 20 years as a staff photographer for the United Methodist General Board of Global Ministries, and his more recent work as a freelance photographer.
Every job I did for the church was different. I enjoyed that. You never knew what was going to come up. I've enjoyed meeting people of every nationality. I've traveled in the Middle East and Africa and South America and Asia. There are beautiful people everywhere you go, and it's been a pleasure.
Goodwin photographed some of the most well-known people of the 1960s, many of whom lent their celebrity to the peace movement.
Well, I photographed people like Peter, Paul, and Mary, and I photographed William Sloane Coffin and Rabbi Heschel and Martin Luther King Jr. These were all people who were putting their faith on the line. People got tear gassed and people got thrown in prison and so forth. It was a responsibility people felt of trying to end the war or trying to end racism. I've traveled to over 70 countries, a good many of them for the Board of Global Ministries. It was interesting to find that the work of the church winds up from being very religious in some ways. I'm photographing seminaries and speaking, preaching and so forth in churches around the world, to pretty secular people doing agricultural missions, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I got the job and I was there 20 years until I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and went on disability leave at the end of '94 or early '95.
John is very socially active. He was instrumental in helping to end the death penalty in the state of New Jersey through New Jersey Church and Society.
Mark Sheenice has worked closely with Goodwin, archiving photos for the General Commission on Archives and History.
Well, we always scan it as he's lived a way that most of us would be envious of for the kinds of ministry he's done with the lens of a camera, and also the people he has met. He's a bit bohemian, which I like. I find him very interesting in hearing his stories where he's traveled the world. He captures the mood, he captures the intensity, he captures the pathos that goes into General Conference and has given that gift, that moment in time, to us who are interested in that, what I call the flesh of history.
Over the years, Goodwin has captured 10 United Methodist General Conferences. Some of Goodwin's most sought-after photos are of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. However, Goodwin is quick to point out that his images show Dr. King standing up for a different movement.
A few publishers have asked me for photographs of Martin Luther King. I do not have photographs of Dr. King in the civil rights movement. I have photographs of Dr. King in the peace movement. And some of them they liked my photos so much that they elected to use them. But sometimes they had to make a disclaimer in the article or in the caption that this was not the March on Selma, this was a march in Arlington Cemetery or something of this sort. For the last year of his life, I photographed him at a number of events relating to the peace movement. In the peace movement period, a lot of people were really not understanding each other. A lot of the news media were showing pictures of, quote, hippies and so forth, campaigning against the war in Vietnam. And I was busy showing photographs. There were clergy people of all faiths, Protestant, Catholic, and Jewish, and other, quote, good people, middle-class people. They weren't all crazies. I always saw photography as a means. In fact, there's a whole movement for many, many years, the concerned photographer. Photographers who have dealt with bringing about an end to child labor, bringing about peace issues and working issues and unions and so forth. So that's a long tradition of photographers who use photography in that way.
Goodwin got his start in the school camera club in the 6th grade and found early inspiration in the social activism and words of his preacher father, who dedicated a book to his young son.
To John, who at 10 years of age loves persons who are lovable without regard to their color or nationality, may no person teach him differently. That was kind of a marching order. That kind of gave me a goal in life.
For more than half a century, John C. Goodwin has chronicled a changing world and given a voice to those who seek love and peace.
This video was brought to you by the people of the United Methodist Church through World Service donations.